Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mario Cristobal Show. Joe Zagacki, Don Bailey Jr., and of course, University of Miami head coach Mario Cristobal. Hurricanes take their show on the road this week. They'll be at Gerald Ford Stadium in Dallas on the campus of SMU. 12 o'clock kickoff for the Canes and SMU. But, Coach, coming off a game against Stanford at Hard Rock Stadium, 35, 42 unanswered points going to win this game 42-7. Got off to maybe a choppy start, but then you guys settled down and overwhelmed Stanford.
You know, it was a slow start, and we always emphasize starting fast, but regardless of the outcome, just keep playing until you gain the momentum. And towards the end of the first half, felt like we got that, and then in the second half, with great defense and great special teams play, we were able to really get rolling.
Coach, you talk about starts in football games. You prepare from what you've seen, but everybody brings a little something new to the table, especially on the first or second drive.
No doubt, and sometimes, you know, when, you know, we didn't come off our best performance from the previous week, and we get down and we move the ball and we stall. What you don't want to do is let anxiety set in and start getting antsy. You know what? Just go back to process, right? And just keep chopping, just keep chipping away until you gain the momentum. And proud of our guys for showing that kind of resilience and a lot to build upon from this past week.
There was a persistence in the run game that paid off, and I thought it brought stability to your offense.
It did. You know, some things were a little bit muddy early. Sometimes we missed on a safety. Sometimes we may not have finished blocks or didn't read it the right way. But as we did it more and more and leaned on it, I felt like we started getting a little bit more air in the run game and getting downhill, made people miss, ran some people over, finished blocks better, and found some more consistency in the run game.
And Coach, when you stay with the run game, it really pays off more at the end of a game than a lot of times in the beginning because of what you said, you wear the opponent down.
I mean, you really would love for your team statistically to get better in the run game as the game goes on. Now, you can't predict that, right? 4-quarter game and things go back and forth. But again, as the game wears on, you want your strength and your conditioning to pay off and start wearing down your opponent and therefore, you know, opening some other couple running lanes that maybe weren't there early.
You also ended up with some long drives. I think maybe the Achilles heel in Louisville in the beginning of the Stanford game was, you know, the penalties or whatever, short-circuiting drives. But then these drives of starting at the end of the second quarter and the rest of the way, you had some long drives, a couple of short drives because of turnovers, but you were able to string together a lot of good plays.
You know, it was but just much more consistency, you know, which was key. And we did have 2 pre-snap penalties that did hurt us. But we cut those down in half. It's still not good enough, but there is progress there. We got to eliminate those, eliminate the mental mistakes, and we will see even more consistency in our offense.
Coach, we saw Tony Johnson early in the season, but he really showed up in the ball game against Stanford.
He did. He earned playing time. I mean, he flat out has been showing it every single day in practice, accountable, dependable, not only catching the ball, but as a blocker as well. Total team guy. Thought him and some of those young receivers did some really good things.
You checked a lot of boxes on defense. Let's see. They had 74 yards on the first drive and then 70 yards the rest of the game. Their most popular receiver, C.J. Williams, had 1 catch. They had 8 first downs. And at one point on third down, they had a streak where they were 2 for 9.
You know, we did a lot of good things after that first drive. And the more you look at the tape, you know, our guys, Coach Heatherman, of course, who's a perfectionist, just identified a lot of things where we can do better and have an even better outcome. But certainly a lot of progress in that area of our team and was fun to watch them play with physicality and relentless effort.
Xavier Lucas, an interception, a sack, a pass breakup, and combine that with Bissainthe's interception, fantastic day on the takeaways.
And was really physical on the perimeter as well. You know, really just put his face in there, knocked things back, took on blocks. Really proud of him, just played big, played strong, and certainly the interception was a game-changing play.
I have to bring this one up too. Before the game, walking into the stadium, I saw Wesley Bissaithe's mom and aunt. And I told them what a great job they've done with Wesley. He's a very fine speaker. Then he gets the interception. By the way, Wesley's mom watches this show all the time. So, hi, Wesley's mom. Watches the show all the time, loves you. And he had a big interception at the right time, and he's playing hard.
You know, Wes comes from an awesome family. Just raised the right way, made of the right stuff. And this means a lot to him. You know, playing in front of family and friends right here from his hometown, that means a lot to him. So to watch him week after week just get better and better and play at a high level and come up with an interception, my God, they drilled it so many times. It was great to see it. You know, thrown in his area, but he made a great play reaching back to get that ball. And if we block it up a little bit better on the way there, he scores, you know. So that's a neat thing with all, you know, we did a lot of good things. And then there's so many little things that you can add on top of that to make those great plays, elite plays. And that's been our focus, you know, in our film session, our walkthrough, and certainly moved on to SMU.
The Mario Cristobal Show is brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Discover what happens when rugged capability meets true performance. It's the perfect balance of quality, dependability, power, and style. Learn more at kia.com. Kia, movement that inspires.
Coach Etherman spends countless time on technique, and one of those is involving tackling, and you sure tackled a lot better Saturday.
We really reduced the number of missed tackles, and I think not only our tackling, but our knockback tackling improved. Our spacing, leveraging the football improved, you know, running our feet through contact improved. And then there's numerous times on film, great teaching opportunities to improve that more this week.
They've held defense 5 of 7 opponents under 100 yards, and they're allowing 14 points per game. Does that impact the way you manage a game, knowing that that's what you have in your back pocket?
You know, you play to the best of your ability, and you plan out the game, and you talk about how you feel the game is going to go, and then what do we need to do to win the game. So you're playing complementary football. And then you have your what ifs, right? Well, what if all of a sudden they go tempo and they rip out a bunch of points? What if we are really feeling like we can move the ball in offense, but we got to go fast, but you know, we're down a certain amount of guys on defense. We don't really want to go fast. You discuss every possible scenario and go with a plan that you feel is best for the football team, and you make your adjustments and adapt along the way.
Coach, you spend a lot of time talking complementary football, and part of that complement is special teams. Outstanding week of that, but I meant to bring it up last week. Adam Booker is a snapper, does a great job with that, but against Louisville, he made a solo tackle, and he's doing a fantastic job in coverage as well.
Yeah, a guy that has to be mentioned more because he's a professional. He is a hard-working, tough guy, team player. And special teams have been really getting better and better throughout the course of the year, and probably had our best game, you know, in everything, in coverage. You know, we missed a 1 field goal. It's our first miss of the year, and we're gonna fix that. But aside from that, certainly just the return game. You know, really, we almost broke one on kickoff as well, on kickoff return. So a lot of areas, a lot of things to clean up from a detail and technique and fundamental standpoint, but certainly special teams in conjunction with the defense allowed the offense to get its feet underneath itself and then really start playing together.
Speaking of special teams, Malachi Tony, the 2 punt returns kind of turned the game upside down, and he is so electrifying when he has the ball in his hands.
He is, and you know, it starts with securing the catch. You know, sometimes when I've been around, you know, teams where you're kind of that ball's in the air, you're like, man, catch that ball. You know, secure that ball first, and he, knock on wood, let's keep that going, right? But he just has such a natural feel for understanding the spacing, the blocking, and whatnot. And when he saw hats were on hats, and there was a little space between him and the first guy down, he knew exactly what to do with it, and he did a great job.
Keontae Scott led in total tackles, but he did more than that.
That guy shows up and shows out every single week. I can't emphasize the importance, the magnitude of the addition of Keontae Scott to this team, what it's meant, and the fact that he's just he's a warrior. I mean, he throws his body around recklessly. You know, he weighs 190, 95 pounds. Maybe I'm giving him more. That might be in full pads, and he's not a small guy. He's a big guy, and he's put together well because he trains hard. But man, he is a physical, fast player that is disruptive, that really understands the game, the calls. He understands complementary football about as good as anybody. Great teammate, great energy.
A great night for Mark Fletcher, another 100-yard game. 23 carries for him also. Over 100 yards, 3 touchdowns, complemented by Marty Brown. And then those two guys giving you the thunder, and slowly but surely starting to see Jordan Lyle, the speed and the things that he offers your running game.
No doubt, on his way to being a big-time player, as well as Marty, you know, and getting those guys now healthy where we could actually have a legitimate rotation is awesome. Some of the young guys got some burn as well, but, you know, Mark certainly ran the ball with a disposition of what you really want, you know, downhill, made people miss, ran by some guys, ran through some tackles as well, and took some muddy runs and got an extra 2 and 3 yards out of it. So it's a great performance by him. Also a great performance by him catching the football.
What's better than a first down? 0 down. Go to AutoNation now to shop a large selection of cars and trucks with 0 down payment available. Find your next car now. Visit AutoNation.com today.
Carson Beck came out and didn't miss a beat. I mean, he just came out, had confidence, and ran the offense and ran what was called, but also made some checkoffs that were very valuable.
Really efficient, really accurate, and really decisive. A couple drops that really could have put his statistical stuff really over the top, but we're not interested. He's not interested in statistics. We got better. We did a lot of things to get ourselves back in a good rhythm offensively, and we have to build off of that. And certainly proud of Carson and the rest of the guys for bringing their game.
This was also a game that was valuable for a lot of players. They got playing time. Some had to start. Lightfoot was in there playing, and Armando Blunt. But then late in the game, Dante Simpson made a huge play for you. Emory Williams got a chance to play. How important is it to get those guys playing time in a game like this? This is against a good, conference opponent, and they were able to get good playing time.
Yeah, it's critical. It's a different approach to the back end of a game that maybe you have control of, because typically you just kind of, let the clock kind of expire and whatnot. But now, with the season being as long as it is and your limited roster sizes, you have to get guys reps. It's the best opportunity to develop your roster. So we just went out there and played football on both sides of the ball. And proud of the fact that those guys went in there and found a way to score and also found a way to stop the opponent from driving and scoring. So a lot of value in that, and certainly felt like that helped us develop and get better.
And I don't know that people understand who haven't played the game, but there is a dramatic difference between practice and playing in game experience. I mean, you can't duplicate being in a game, can you?
You can't. We try to. Now, from a level of competition, what we see on Green Tree, that has to be the standard. But when you add, the stadium, the lights, the crowd, and everything else, there's a lot of, other outside, some exterior, right, things that can impact someone's concentration, their focus, their thinking, right? And you want to see guys perform under the lights in an arena in front of people to make sure that they understand, hey, whether there's one person there or 70,000, it is what it is, man. Go play ball and go play to the standard.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Time now for the Kia High Performance Moment of the Week. Who else would earn this one than Malachi Tony? A couple of huge, dazzling punt returns for the University of Miami.
Absolutely, Joe. And the first and foremost, he feels the ball. He's been so great at that and has the confidence in it. But more importantly, the return team finds a hat on a hat, and then Malachi Tony gets his eyes down and locates the crease and then starts to accelerate.
He is dazzling when he gets his hands on the football, one of the most electrifying players in college football.
Without question, he's going to probably be in the running for the Sean Alexander Award for Freshman of the Year, and he should get it.
He's able to slip through tackles as well.
The thing is, the vision comes into play. Just right there, he plants his foot and he can restart. But the thing about him, he does not lose any speed when he transitions from right to left.
Malachi Tony earned this week's High Performance Moment presented by Kia. Okay, on Saturday it's Miami and SMU, 12 o'clock kickoff at Ford Stadium, 11 o'clock Dallas time, 11 a.m. Dallas time. But this is a very good SMU team coming off a loss, but they've won a lot of football games the last 2 years, 11-3 back-to-back years. Playoff team a year ago with a dynamic quarterback.
Yeah, that's the best way to define it. These guys a year ago were playing in the ACC championship, and we're in the playoffs. And their team is as good or better than it was a year ago. They've got dynamic players in all areas. On offense, it starts with the quarterback, but he's complemented by some great runners, by some great receivers, tight ends, and an offensive line that is nasty, big, athletic. And they're one of the top offenses in the country. And you flip it over on the defensive side, and they're top 3, top 5 in a lot of really important categories, particularly forcing turnovers, number 1 in the country. Top 5, top 10 in sacks, top 5, top 10 in tackles for loss. In red zone defense, I believe they're top 3 in the country. So they've just done a really, really good job of getting great players, coaching them well, and having a great culture.
Brett Lashley was the offensive coordinator here and ran an explosive offense, and nothing has changed. He still calls the plays. And every time they snap the football, there's an opportunity for a big play on that offense.
No doubt. Schematically, very challenging. Certainly, you have to just cover every ounce of the field and certainly have your eyes in a manner where you cannot lose the discipline of your play call and understand what's going on the other side to be effective against this team.
What is it about this quarterback, Jennings, that makes him such an impactful player?
Incredibly accurate, strong arm, can create different throws with different arm angles, can extend plays forever, can create plays with his feet. The understanding of the offense, I mean, you could go on and on. I mean, he's one of the best in college football and going to be a great NFL quarterback. And again, he's surrounded by weapons all over the place. So certainly one of the better players in college football.
Their defense, they've got two big, strong defensive tackles on the inside, speed on the outside, and then depth behind them that can cause some problems.
No doubt. And it's a big reason why they lead the country in forcing turnovers, right? They're disruptive up front. They all can run. They're all really athletic, really physical, and they get to the ball fast. And when they get there, they force things. They make things happen. So all that stuff combined allows them to be very effective in a scheme that's very challenging.
Some familiar names. Chris Johnson was here, Brinson was here, but R.J. Maryland, really Russell's son, is a really nice player.
Yeah, great players that are playing at a high level. Certainly have done a nice job for their program.
Coach, you look across college football, and you've been saying it for the last 3 or 4 weeks constantly, but everything's a one-possession game, it looks like, especially in conference football.
Sure, and not only that, but like teams are like you're almost never out of a game and never all the way secure in a game. They were just the back and forths that are going on right now in college football due to, you name it, a funny bounce, due to a schematical change, an injury, a plan finally kicking in. It's just, you just keep playing, I mean, look at us the other night, first quarter, very, very stale, right? We really had a tough time generating stuff, and you feel that energy kind of, at a low level, and all of a sudden things start clicking and things change in a hurry. So you have to be and train and prepare at your very best to give yourself the best chance to execute at the highest level.
This fall, the Canes are taking over paradise again. Canes Weekend in the Bahamas returns October 31st to November 2nd, right in the heart of Nassau. Choose your vibe, the bold, laid-back energy of the Point Margaritaville Beach Resort, or the timeless charm of British colonial Nassau. 2 beachfront escapes, 1 legendary weekend. Enjoy special rates starting at just $159 per night, plus big-time fan energy. Lock it in now at Bahamas.com/Canes Weekend. Terms and conditions apply. And when you get a team like this that was in the championship game a year ago and has had this much winning, they probably have that intangible, right? The feeling invincible, or that no matter what, they're going to find a way to win. So you're probably up against that as well, right?
You're just facing a great football team that's had some great coaches. They've got playmakers all over the field, and they execute at a really high level. And come Saturdays, it's all about execution, right? It's about execution, protecting the football, and making sure you find a way to eliminate penalties and mental mistakes.
And you're never getting away, nor should you, the 1-0 focus, because that's what it boils down to every week.
No doubt. I mean, this is for a lot of, we have some young guys that are playing, and for them it's like, man, it's another week. Wow, more schematical change. Whoa, this is a whole different type of offense. Whoa, this is a whole different type of defense. Special teams, look at all these adjustments, shifts, and motions. And that's why you got to get in here. And that's why just being here for meeting times and just being here for practice times, it's not enough to be a good player. You have to spend a lot of extra time in the building, watching film, hunting down coaches to just find a way to get an edge and get better, and not just know what to do, but really know what to do, how to do it, why we're doing it that way, and be able to anticipate better so you can buy that extra step, buy an extra second, right? So you can be a great football player.
We talk about them taking the ball away. You're not far behind taking the ball away. University of Miami, you're taking the ball away and protecting it pretty well. You had the interception game. I don't want to knock on wood here, but no fumbles this season.
Well, it does, just because you haven't fumbled doesn't mean your ball security is at the level you want it to be. We coach it every single day, and we need to coach it harder. We're going to coach it harder, because there's no easier way to put yourself in a hole than to just give that ball back, right? So,
Coach, when you look at Ruben Bain and the last 2 weeks, his sack total has not been what people would hope. What people, I don't know, but he's playing outstanding football just because you're not getting sacks. And teams are accounting for him a lot more different than they did the first month of the season.
Without a doubt, people, they want to put an extra tight end chipping over there and then make that route a check down route, which eliminates a lot that could be done there. Slide the protection his way. And, when you end up getting causing an intentional grounding where you get the yards and the down and you force a holding penalty or you force a scramble or you cause the quarterback to step up so one of your teammates gets a sack, it may not show up on the stat sheet. It shows up on the film, and it shows up in the effectiveness of how you're winning football games. So he's playing at the highest level, and he's more motivated than ever to do even better. So we're looking forward to watching him play his best football here down the stretch.
I don't have the Pro Football Focus numbers.
Good.
But it doesn't seem like he ever comes off the field, Ruben Bain.
Well, he's hard to take off the field.
Yeah. That's what you want, right? I mean, that's a great example.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be. I mean, there was a day and age where guys never came off the field, right?
On both sides.
On both sides. You just rolled, right? And in that aspect and several other aspects, he's a throwback like that. He doesn't want to come off the field. Now, we do find, especially in high rep count games, you have to, because in the fourth quarter, you've got to be able to rush the passer to win football games. Like we talked about, a lot of one-possession games. And if you can't get to the quarterback in the fourth quarter, it's, you run the risk of not getting the outcome you want. So, but again, the level of conditioning that he has put himself through certainly allows him to do that.
UHealth is accelerating access to world-class care. With a new facility now open in Doral, UHealth Seoul Miami Medical Center opening in North Miami. The University of Miami Health System is redefining the future of healthcare across South Florida. As the region's only academic-based health system, UHealth brings top specialists, advanced research, and cutting-edge treatments directly to the communities it serves. Visit umiamihealth.org to learn more.
Coach, also when you talk to freshmen or players you're recruiting coming in, that they will play. They will have the opportunity to play. And the opportunity is them putting in the time and the effort and the conditioning to get in a position to help.
And it's shown year after year after year. It shows when Ruben and Francis got here and Dylan Joyce got here, and then it shows with OJ and Elijah Lofton, and this year it's shown up in the form of Malachi Tony, Bryce Fitzgerald, who else? I mean, Josh Moore, Armando Blunt. Also. Like here, there's you don't discriminate, right? If a guy's ready to roll, he's going to roll. Now you got to prove it in practice, and you have to be consistent, and you have to have the right kind of habits. You cannot bust and gain the trust of your teammates and coaches. Talk about mentally.
Coach, let's hit on that for a moment. It's really the player's decision to get on the field, and there's no secrets because everybody watches the same tape day after day after day, whether it's the game tape or the practice plays to tape, but it's all because it's been earned.
The judge and jury is up on the screen every single day, and the whole team watches it. That way there is there's nothing cloudy. It's as clear as day, and certainly I think our players respect that. I think we do a really good job of being very transparent, and also if maybe a guy's not up to that level where he will be contributing all the time, we provide him a path, a blueprint, feedback so he can get there, because we want to get as many guys on the field as we can, but it still has to be proven.
A couple of quick things before we go. In terms of recruiting, we mentioned young guys playing, got two kids 18 years old playing. A lot of high school kids out there right now, locally and nationally. University of Miami, I would imagine, right on their radar. We talked before the show, you wore those uniforms the other night, the military uniforms. So there are a lot of different reasons eyes are on the University of Miami with these young kids, right?
A lot of people have been working really hard at the University of Miami for a long, long time. And, we all came back to the football. You guys were here, but a lot of us came back because this means everything to us, right? We wear this stuff. We wake up with it. It never leaves us. So it's great to see the progress. It's great to see that the hunger only gets stronger, the appetite gets stronger, because we still have a lot of things to do, and we have a lot of improvements to make to achieve the level that we want. But I think, like you mentioned, these recruits, both locally and abroad, recognize an elite level education, an elite level program in the making, an elite commitment to resources, facilities that's coming, right? As you see all the construction going on outside. So in terms of trajectory and a program on the rise, it's hard to beat the University of Miami.
I got a big one on Saturday against SMU. The very best of luck.
Thank you. Go Canes.
That's University of Miami head coach Mario Cristobal. For the coach and Don Bailey Jr., I'm Joe Zagacki. We'll see you next week on the Mario Cristobal Show.